Well, I put the starter in and new starter, and that did not fix the problem. So it's definitely got a wiring problem. I think I know what it is. I'm not quite sure what to do with it at this point. I have found a few things ugly. Basically went through all the wiring, the looms, fixed what I found wrong. This is one of the, I don't know whether you can see that or not, but that was a big, ugly looking corroded connection. That's a factory connection. I didn't do that. I mean, I've done some questionable shit, but I didn't do that. So I cleaned that up. These two wires were going nowhere. I was going to use them for power for something else. If I ever put, say, nitrous on this thing or whatever. These were live, but terminated. This is another live one here, terminated with the good old Marette. But cut that out, cleaned it up. I think I know what the issue here is. I've got no power. I got power at the battery. I got power, at least at the starter. I've got power to my ignition wire, which I think is this wire right here. And that, I believe, is a fusible link. There was I don't know, I still have it here, a rubber, this thing here. This was covered. This was part of that wire, and this was the factory terminated connection or factory connection here. So I cut this off just to see what the hell was inside there. Just split that open, saw that. So I basically replaced that with a connector, but I'm suspecting that might be, and I don't know enough about wiring, but I've got power to here. I got nothing going in. This is a wire off the starter. There's a bunch of wires going all over the place here. Some of it's mine, some of it's whoever had the car before me. I've had it a long time, so it's probably me, and I just forgot what I've done over the years. But anyhow, I'm at a loss because yesterday I had power at the starter. Now I don't have power at the starter with the battery connected. So I don't know what the hell's going on. And I'm not that much of I like wiring. I like hooking stuff up, but fixing stuff just doesn't cut it for me. So I'm basically, I've got a shop in town here that does like all my mechanical and hot rod stuff for me, and I'm gonna get this car towed over to him, and he could probably fix it in an hour. Having worked on these cars and knows his way around them, knows where the common problems. I think it's the ignition switch is burnt out, because every now and then I'll get 10 volts and I go to hit the starter and boom, I got nothing. So I'm thinking that's what it is, and I'm thinking I'm just going to get him to bypass the switch, put a on-off switch for power, and then a push button starter. Kind of what I have in my Beaumont. Kind of ran into the same problem, but I had power. I had power at the ignition. I just didn't have, or on the switch, it's all locked up. But anyhow, I got a push button. I bypassed that. I put a push button starter in there, and that works fine. And I think I'm going to go with this same deal on this. Essentially, this car needs a complete kit. It should have a wiring kit in there. Everything works, but there's lots of junk, not right. Some of it's right, like in there. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's a junction box there, which is cool. I mean, I run my accessories off of that, and I've got one in the trunk. That's my battery setup there. I've got the right here. I mean, the light's not great, but so I run my power from there. There's the ground. Power goes from here into there, and then grounded out here. The battery's grounded out to the frame. All the grounds work, so I don't think it's a ground issue, but it is a frustrating issue, I guess. And I'm not really. Yes, as I look at it right now, I mean, it's one less car I got to put gas in. But I do want to get this thing running. There's a better picture of the junction box. And that's just basic universal junction box. A lot of using trucking. It's kind of the business I'm in and the service side of stuff. So, but not as a mechanic. I'm a manager, so that means I know nothing about this shit. Well, actually, I do know quite a bit, but it reaches a point where I want to get this thing running, and if it costs me a couple hours or 3 hours or whatever it's going to cost, I'd rather have this thing running than sitting on stands. Because it is a fun car to drive. And I just put those new tailpipes on this thing, and it does sound a little, it is loud, it is a little rank, but I like it with those tailpipes. So plus I got to get the oil changed on this. I got to get the engine running to do that. I want to get the oil hot. So I'm going to put this back together, kind of loosely tie the loose wires up, just strap them up so that, you know, I'm not going to loom them up. Once the thing's running, I get it back here. I'll clean all these wires up. I'll put new looms. I got wiring loom all over the place here. And I'll get it all cleaned up. And one of these days, I just might buy I'm thinking get a race car wiring kit. So I don't need much. I mean, it's just got basic gauges in here, which is all fine and dandy. But as far as, you know, accessories, I got power windows and wipers, and that's about it. But I do want to get this thing going, so maybe I give up early, but I also know what my limitations are, or where I how far I can go with this kind of stuff, and I'll tow it in, get it fixed, and this car's meant to drive, not sit on stands, so we'll go with that. Yeah, so I'll update later, probably, hopefully, once this thing is rolling, get the oil changed. I still want to cut that oil filter out, and compare that to the initial oil change after I got the filter, after I had the engine rebuilt at least. So we'll update then. Hopefully it's not in the winter. Get this thing going. Talk to you later.